Now, on Monday, it's the 240th anniversary of one of the biggest, most iconic protests in this country's history, the Boston Tea Party. And in honor of that, they're going to have a reenactment, a live reenactment happening. We're joined this morning by Sean Ford. He's the director of the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Good to be here.
This sounds like quite an undertaking.
It is a massive undertaking, but it needs to be done.
It needs to be done. Tell us a little about what's going to be happening.
Well, on Monday, December 16th is the actual date of the Boston Tea Party. And at 6:30, we start at the Old South Meeting House, where the building still stands today.
Yep.
This was the body of the people, the meeting of the people. And we reenact what happened that night with the Patriots. And it's a full-blown theatrical production. After the meeting at the Old South Meeting House, we don the Mohawks' disguises, the Patriots leave, and they march down the exact same streets the Patriots took 240 years ago to go down to the waterfront to Griffin's Wharf. And there, at the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum, on the ship, the Brig Beaver, we reenact the destruction of the tea.
No city does history as well as Boston does history.
I agree.
I mean, you walk through Boston, and there are neighborhoods and there are streets where you kind of feel like you're back in that time.
The treasures that we have in the city that still stands today is truly a miracle. We've got the Old South Meeting House, we have Faneuil Hall, we have Paul Revere's house, and so many more.
And so well preserved.
Yes, and that was no easy feat to do.
Yeah, you said this is something that needs to happen. Why does this need to happen?
Well, I think that the date of December 16th should be recognized and celebrated, much like the 4th of July. If it wasn't for the Tea Party, we may be British subjects today. The Boston Tea Party was the single most important event that led to the American Revolution. It was a spark that started it all by a few people, based on ideas.
Is that overlooked, you think, today? Kind of pushed aside when we think about big moments in history?
I certainly do. I think who of us today would throw away everything, our houses, our property, our future, based on an idea, based on an ideal, with every probability of total failure? Who would do that today? These few people, these Sons of Liberty, the Patriots in Boston in particular, took it upon themselves to make this bold act.
Talk about what goes into planning this. A lot of people obviously are involved in this reenactment. How much time goes into preparing for it over the course of the year?
This is our second annual, and after last December 16th, on December 18th, we started planning again.
You realized this worked, we could do it, and there's some video up on the screen right now of what happened last year, and we want to do it again. What did you learn from doing it the first time?
We learned that we need to have a lot more room for the spectators that want to come down to the waterfront. We're expecting thousands of people.
You got a lot of people who came out to watch it.
Yes, and it's cold, and they still come out.
That's nice to see, too.
But It was cold that night, too, and a little snow on December 16th. It was a full moon.
So we think about the historic perspective of what happened on December 16th, 240 years ago. What can we use today in that? What would you kind of teach if you were teaching a class today? What would you tell people, kids?
I think that, you can make a difference, and you need to right the wrong. And you may go against the tide of popular opinion, but you got to do it for the right reasons. Yeah. And you got to do it with good conviction and honesty. It's, what happened at the Boston Tea Party had nothing to do about taxes. It had nothing to do about not wanting to participate. It was no representation.
It's a bigger picture.
We didn't have a voice.
Yeah.
And that's what it was about.
Happening Monday in Boston. You can go and join the crowds there. Thousands expected. If you maybe have some time off, might be a fun thing to do. Sean Ford, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Very cool. All right, we'll try to get some information too. We'll tweet it out and put it on our Facebook page for you.